Thanks for watching the Daily Debate live Wednesday with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we'll be talking about the comprehensive development in Sinai. No doubt that Egypt has accomplished an achievement no less important than the restoration of Sinai from occupation. This achievement is actually represented in liberating Sinai mainly from terrorism and also the futile attempts of the terrorists to turn this blessed land into their horrific haven. The anniversary this year of Sinai comes after years of successful efforts to eliminate terrorism, along with witnessing development in the different sectors of the Sinai Peninsula, namely in construction, in agriculture, education, health, electricity, and more. Well, within the framework of the state's comprehensive strategy and vision for fostering and promoting development in Sinai, President Sisi has directed to maintain coordination and cooperation among the different state bodies in order to verify the databases of all the development projects in Sinai. And tonight we'll be talking about the role of the army, the security forces, and the people of Sinai, how they joined forces together in order to uproot terrorism from Sinai and to pave the way for the development and peace that we are really flourishing and that we are enjoying. I have all the honor and pleasure of having with us live on Wednesday debate Major General Mohamed Shahawy, who is our strategic expert for tonight and also advisor to the Command and Staff College. Thank you so much, Major General, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Well, tonight we'll be talking about this important topic. We'll be also highlighting the state role in the achievements that happened in Sinai on solid grounds, as today, as we all know, that the Egyptian forces all joined hands together with the Egyptian people and supporting, of course, the government taking part in this important war today, which is the war of development, the war for developing every inch of Sinai, and that's a noble aim and goal of the new republic, modernization and war of development led by the president, who spares no effort in order to work hard on the reconstruction of Sinai. Let's watch this report and we'll be back.
The new republic has implemented comprehensive national plan to change life in Sinai, and in this regard billions of investments were and are being implemented to develop Sinai throughout the past years. The Egyptian state has set Sinai on the path of real development ever since launching a comprehensive plan for the development of the turquoise land. In this respect, Egypt has launched major and unprecedented national projects covering various sectors, linking the eastern Egypt to the delta by developing the canal cities to be the natural extension of the Nile Valley, overcoming all obstacles in order to attract investment opportunities to this great blessed land. In addition to developing the service sectors such as education, health and agriculture, the state has also focused on providing all forms of support and social protection to Sinai people. The state's comprehensive plan for the development of Sinai incorporated efforts to develop investment and industrial infrastructure, aiming to attract and encourage investors in Sinai and canal cities. It also included the launching of industrial projects and zones within the industrial investment map, developing the Suez Canal Economic Zone, comprising several industrial and service establishments in various fields and providing thousands of direct jobs. That's in addition to other projects such as the fish processing and packaging plant located in El Qantara Shar, Ras Sidr marble and granite production plant, the industrial complex for marble and granite located in the central region in Sinai of Jafjafa, El Arish cement plant and other various production plants all over Sinai. As for medium, small and micro enterprises in Sinai and the canal cities, it's worth mentioning that thousands of projects were funded by the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency. That's in addition to the projects funded by the National Project for Community, Human and Local Development, Mashru'ak, or Your Project, providing thousands of job opportunities, as well as approving the funding of other projects from the Local Development Fund in North Sinai, Ismailia and Suez. Noteworthy, Sinai has witnessed development projects in various fields, such as agricultural development, fishing, farming, projects developing the irrigation system and protecting Sinai from the dangers of floods, water supply projects, wastewater treatment plants, electricity supply projects, renewable energy projects, expansion of natural gas and petroleum projects, implementation of thousands of social housing units, Bedouin cluster projects, that's in addition to the establishment and development of new cities, such as Ismailia New City, Salem City, and the new city of Bir El Abid. There are also development projects in other fields such as seawater desalination plants, the extensive transport network connecting Sinai and canal cities to the delta through roads, tunnels, floating bridges and railway projects, including the first line of the high-speed electric train project, not to mention the various airport projects and the seaports that were established, developed and upgraded all over Sinai. Such great plans and efforts contributed to a paradigm shift that changed the face of life in Sinai, transforming it into a promising attraction and an environment conducive to investment and reconstruction in a state of security and stability. The very things that led international institutions to commend Sinai's continued development efforts at various levels.
Thanks for watching, and I have all the honor of having with us Major General Mohamed Shahawy tonight. General, many happy returns on the occasion of the 25th of April. That will actually remain a remarkable date and a remarkable day for us all as Egyptians. Definitely we are going to remember those days with a sense of great pride.
First, it is such an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be with you in this prominent program, Daily Debate. And I want to talk about the state efforts for comprehensive, sustainable development in Sinai. I want to say that Egypt deals with development in Sinai as a national security issue.
Yes.
And the state's strategy in focuses in implementing many unprecedented and gigantic projects in Sinai in all fields. Allow me to say some of these projects in Sinai. First, housing project with constructions of more than 47,000 housing units,
yes,
and 2,300 Bedouin houses. Second, the constructions of new cities, such as the new city of Rafah and the new city of Ras Al Abd. 5 industrial zones. Zones have been established in North Sinai, in Abu Znema, in Al-Qantara East, in central of Sinai, in Arish. All of these new industrial zones. And also the manufacturing of cement factory, yes, cement factory in Arish with a capacity of 7 million tons annually in Arish, and also added to that a complex for manufacturing marble and granite with a capacity of 3 million square meters annually. All this put a shade that on North Sinai, Egypt established more than 460 projects,
yes,
at cost of 480 pounds to create a job opportunities for the Sinai job so that they are not easily attracted to the terrorist groups, and at the same time it attracted the investment. For that reasons, I say the trick of the trade is to secure Sinai with development. This is very important. Every trick of the book Egypt did it to eradicate and eliminate terrorism, and also at the same time it making thousands of many unprecedented and gigantic project.
Yes, very important, as Your Excellency has mentioned, that it's the battle for development, and this is what the President Sisi had stated. Egypt is now waging a battle for development of Sinai following its liberation from occupation. And this is actually among, Major General Shahawy, this is among the new republic's national and comprehensive plan in order to transform lives, as you have said, providing job opportunities. This has been also important while launching the mega development projects on every inch of Sinai. How has it been like a priority, a comprehensive developmental plan for Sinai as a whole, in your opinion?
I would like to mention some stats on the number of terrorist operations in Sinai. From the period June 2013 to June 2017, there were 1,329 terrorist operations. And this killed a lot of and many martyrs have been fallen. And the blood of martyrs was shed on the soil of Sinai. For that reason, I think by the efforts of the armed forces and the civilian police, I think they succeeded in eliminating these terrorist groups. And also these operations through what we call about Eagle 1 and 2 operations, and Martyr Rights 1, 2, and 3 operations, and finally about the comprehensive Operation Sinai 2018.
Yes.
This is eradicate about the terrorism. After that, while we eradicate, I wanted to stress about while the Egyptian armed forces eradicated and fighting terrorism, in the same time they build, they develop, they constructed a lot of or many projects. So while we fight terrorism, in the same time we build many projects, especially in North Sinai. And I want to say that at the time, the armed forces fighting terrorism and they develop the national project, they also managed to raise the combat efficiency.
Yes.
Until the armed forces became one of the most powerful armed in the world.
Yes.
For that reason, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, he always cared about Sinai and gave it a special attention.
Yes.
Because this spot is dear to the hearts of Egyptians. This spot is shaped by geography and recorded by history and restored from the Israeli occupation by what we call every trick of the book.
Yeah.
By everything we did, and also by the hands of their sons and the blood of their martyr. For that reasons, on the same time, we fight terrorism and also we make many unprecedented and gigantic national projects.
Yes, very important that they go side by side, and this is what actually the new generations ought to learn, General, because we have many lessons actually taught throughout our history where we are extending, of course, our sincere admiration to our martyrs for all what they did for this country.
Yes.
And how they sacrificed their souls for the welfare of the homeland. So those are also messages that we send to the youth of today, General Shahawy, because it's very important that as they read the book of history, they understand what those heroes really did in order to sacrifice those sacrifices that they offered for the nation, and that we are actually reaping the fruit of their sacrifices today.
I think there's a very good, important questions about the lesson learned, because we know that he who doesn't possess a national army and modern weapons, he doesn't possess security.
Yeah.
Peace must have a force that protects it. And the first lesson we learned about the development of Sinai and about the restorations of Sinai, and we celebrate by the 41st anniversary of liberation of Sinai and 25th of April 1982. I want to say that Sinai is of great strategic importance to Egypt.
Yeah.
And the spirit of October and the restoration of Sinai, I think, continued until now to carry out thousands of gigantic and unprecedented projects in Sinai that create job opportunities for the Sinai youth, and so that they can't easily be attracted to the terrorist groups. The third lesson is the trick of the trade is to secure Sinai across or through development. We plant people, we plant many facilities and the services and the project in Sinai to facilitate the life for them and also to secure. So we say the trick of the trade is to secure Sinai through development. The fourth lesson we learned is that the armed forces succeeded in eliminating terrorist elements in Sinai while implementing, I think, as I said, many projects, and she raises its combat efficiency until it became one of the most powerful armies in the world. And also, I want to say, Egypt has strong army that he is a sword and a shield to defend it.
Yes.
And Egypt has leaders. The leaders of Egypt and the army know the meaning of national sovereignty and the national sanctity of its land, and they don't neglect 1 inch of the land. And last, I want to say the future of nations is not achieved except through sacrifices and the blood of martyrs.
Yes, definitely, and we're reaping the fruit, as I have said, of the sacrifices of our martyrs. We've been talking also, General, about the Sinai comprehensive military operation that has actually paved the way for the developmental process that we have been witnessing in Sinai. In what sense was this operation comprehensive? And also for our viewers watching us around the world, if you would explain to them how was the military operation that took place back in 2018 comprehensive, why was it called comprehensive, and how it paved the way for the developmental process in the peninsula?
I think comprehensive Operation Sinai in 2018 is the first step to eradicate and eliminate and destroy all the terrorism. They destroy their infrastructures of these terrorist groups.
Yes.
Do you know that they have vehicles, they have weapons? These weapons is very sophisticated and modern and owned by states and the countries. For that reason, in the same time, we eradicate and destroy terrorism through or by the efforts of the armed forces and the civilian police. In the same time, there are many projects they carried out. And I think Sinai is very important to us. Sinai is very strategic important to us. Why? Because Sinai is Egypt's eastern gate on the continent of Asia.
Yeah.
Because Sinai is of important attraction, touristic attractions such as Sharm el-Sheikh, their St. Catherine monastery, and what we call about Dahab, Nuweiba, Sharm el-Sheikh, and it represents an important area for land reclamations due to the availability of underground water. For that reason, Sinai is very important to us, and throughout, Sinai was the route for armies and the land for battles, and on its land, the blood of martyrs was shed. Right. For that reasons, armed forces, the Egyptian armed forces, and the police and the civilian police fought until they ended up and finished all the terrorist groups, and nearly we will celebrate about Sinai free from all the terrorism, and also by many thousands of national project and presented project, gigantic project in Sinai to create a job opportunity to make Sinai safe and flourishing and good.
Yes, in his speech actually marking the occasion, His Excellency President Sisi stated that terrorists had ignored the fact that the great army and the brave police officers of Egypt are fierce fighters. And here comes the magic word, fierce fighters. They are fierce fighters, of course, to restore every inch of this land, fearing no death for the sake of their homeland. This in addition also to a very important point, that is the fact that the Egyptian people are always backing their army. They stood behind the Egyptian army and the police in all those days. And this is another lesson here, General, that we find always the Egyptian people just one hand supporting their army.
This is a very important point, that when we stand behind our leaders, about our government, about our state, I think this is make us be good, and will continue to be in good condition.
Yeah.
For that reason, so when the armed forces eradicate and fought terrorism, and also they build and develop, but the armed forces doesn't have any companies. The armed forces are represented by the engineering authority of the armed forces, supervises over more than 1,100 national civilian companies with 5 million engineers, technicians, workers, and manufacturers. For that reason, it doesn't own any military companies. And this has many benefits in terms of accuracy of implementation, the speed of completion, and about when they receiving the project from the contractor. I think this is in terms of international standards and specification. For that reason, I think who fights the terrorism? The armed forces, and the armed forces is the army of the people.
Yes, of course.
Who built this project, this mega project in Egypt, not in Sinai only, but all over
Egypt.
All over Egypt.
Yeah.
All over Egypt, so that also the people. And who is suffering? Who is suffering from the military operations? I think the people also. Who the martyrs? The martyr is also from the people, because each soldier, each commissioned officer or officer, he is from a family. And for that reason, I think when you unite together behind our leaders and our armed forces, I think we will continue and to reach to what we need and what to want it to be.
Yes, definitely. The President stated that Egypt will continue to work towards enhancing and protecting Sinai, that very dear part of the country, as the whole state has embarked on a battle for development of Sinai. Yeah. It requires a lot of efforts, enormous efforts actually, in order to develop Sinai. And as we have seen, the work over there in Sinai has been very sincere. So it also required sincerity. It also required patience and belief in the importance and the nobility of this important mission. What else, General? Yes, patience, enormous efforts has been there, exerted.
Work.
Of course,
I think work is very important to achieve our goals. And I want to say Egypt paid a high price to liberate Sinai, to fight and eradicate the terrorist groups. And I think Egypt liberate its land first from Israeli occupations by all means of struggle, from armed struggles in attrition war and in October war, and by also, in addition to that, by political and diplomatic means, beginning from what the arduous negotiations to settle to separate between forces in 1974 and 1975, then the Camp David Accord in 1978. After that, following by signing the treaty, the Egyptian-Israeli treaty in 1979, and restoring all Sinai in 25th of April 1982. After that, by international attritions, we restored Taba.
Yeah.
This is give us a very important lesson that our leaders and our army doesn't ignore any inch. We know that Sinai is 61,000 square kilometers. Taba only one, and Egypt
Not an inch
doesn't neglect any inch. For that reason, I think when this history tells us about the effort does Egypt exceed and Egypt exert to restore its land, to develop in Sinai, because Sinai, we know that Sinai was neglecting for a long time ago, and now it is in the focus of the state.
Yes, definitely in the focus of the state. Strenuous efforts has been exerted, hard work as General Well, one of the main goals, actually, top goals for the terrorists was to isolate Sinai, actually. And that's why one of the most important goals of the government is to make sure to restore the sense of connection between the mainland and also the peninsula on the different levels. We do have, General, many social solidarity initiatives that has been implemented, and also securing the youth so that they won't yield into any sort of brainwashing, as we had earlier mentioned.
I think the people of Sinai make a lot of helping to our armed forces during the restoration of Sinai and the fighting Israeli army. And they made a lot of efforts and helped him and gave them many information, because we know that information is very important in war.
Yes.
And also in peace,
yes,
because information and knowledge is power. For that reasons, they suffer from the Israeli occupation. They suffering from also terrorist groups. For that reason, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi always cared about Sinai and gave it a special attention. And for that reason, Egypt did and executed and implemented a lot of national projects, such as housing, such as roads, such as hospital, and also about airport. For that reason, I think we give them some of what they always exert, and they always helping us. And we know that the greatest celebrate for the 41st anniversary of restoration and the liberations of Sinai, I think to support more development project in Sinai. We have to support them. We have to give them a hand and make a lot of these unprecedented projects. And as we know now, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi yesterday, he gave a speech, and this speech is full of messages about the 41st anniversary of restoration of Sinai. And he greeting the souls of our martyrs and our heroes.
Yes.
He greeting the late President Mohamed Sadat, the hero of war and peace.
Yes.
He also greeting any person, every person who built in Sinai and in Egypt as it is. And as we are celebrating in our homes by Please Eid al-Fitr, there are other people standing on the border, defending and preserving and protecting our land, and they are the best soldiers on earth. For that reason, from this spot, from this program, we gave him a greeting to all heroes on our borders and our strategic directions. Yes. And also, we salute the souls of the late President Mohamed Sadat.
Yes, we do. And actually, in his speech back in Ismailia, while inspecting the equipment that will be used in the development and the reconstruction of Sinai, a flashback to remember the speech of the president, who stated that the terrorist groups tried their best 10 years ago in order to wreak havoc, actually, and to spread chaos. However, the sacrifices of the people of Sinai has actually helped the army in restoring peace and
yes.
development and security. So that's why we can see that there are always open channels also with Sinai tribes and also the role in the developmental process.
I think President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Republic, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, yes. who always met with the people of Sinai. And he also talks with him about what did they want, and what they want, he always execute, he always carried out what did they want. And I think one of the most important thing to connect about the Delta and the Nile,
yes.
the valley and the delta, where Sinai is about the Suez Canal tunnels. It facilitates crossing from west to east in 20 minutes instead of 6 hours. Yes. For that reason, it's very important to facilitate the investment in Sinai, to move about our people from valley and the delta to Sinai, and the state is proposed to move more than 5 million persons to Sinai to work, to live, to invest in this place. So when I say that the trick of the book, the trick of the trade is to secure Sinai by planting people and planting plants in it. For that reason, I think the presence of many millions, 5 millions from our people in Sinai, it secure it very, very much. And also the good relations between the president, between the government, between the Egyptian peoples with Sinai, because they're suffering from the Israeli occupation, from terrorist groups, yes. They're suffering. And now they take the benefits of development. I think benefits, development has many benefits for them.
Yes.
It creates job opportunity for their sons, for their people, yes. And also they make houses for them. I wanted to stress also the state is constructing 453 wells. 453 drills were drilled in Sinai at cost of £4 billion. For that reason, this for the sake of the people of Sinai.
Yes, very important. Plus, of course, the roads projects, the electricity, reclaiming the land for agriculture that can be productive over there, and that definitely can yield more job opportunities. Upgrading Al Arish airport and expanding it in order to accommodate also international traffic. So lots and lots of achievements has been there. And developing those airports and seaports in Sinai. This, of course, in addition to the human being, the treasure, as General
Yes.
Shahawy has mentioned, because we as a country, the New Republic, is investing in the people.
I think this when you talk and about you talk now about the project in housing and roads and also in port and very important project in Sinai.
Yes.
I think the people deserve this, and when we say about we use what about complex of manufacturing marble and granite, because in Sinai, central of Sinai, there is a place called Givgava, and Givgava, the state and the state manufactured what we call marble and granite factory with a capacity of 3 million square meters and this can export and can use it in the local market. This is for the sake of the people of Sinai. And also about cement. We have 2 cement factories in Arish and with capacity of 7 million tons annually. For that reason, I think all this for the sake of our people in Sinai.
Yes. One of the most important and essential steps, General, was also approaching the youth, letting the youth know more about what is happening in Egypt today, about the developmental projects all over the country, and among that, of course, the development of Sinai. This has happened without any borders. We've seen without any barriers through the World Youth Forum and more than one important platform. And Your Excellency has been lecturing the youth also in more than one renowned strategic academy concerning how can we protect our youth from not falling victims of terrorism.
I think this lecture is for the sake for our youth, and we know youth is full of, they are the future of Egypt is the youth, and in the universities, governmental universities, I think the youth is keen to know about the majority or the major project that Egypt has done. For that reason, I think the youth is very important to tell him no about the achievement. And as Egypt eradicated and destroyed terrorism, on the same time, for the sake of Sinai people, I think this is important to know about the youth, to know about them. And they know about the martyrs who sacrificed by their blood to the sake of our land, for the sake of our country, to live Egypt. They died and martyred. For that reason, I think our youth is very national and they keen.
Patriotic,
very good. And they are very patriotic, and as they liberated Sinai from Israeli occupation, they decontaminate Sinai, our youth, our patriotic youth. They decontaminated Sinai from the terrorist groups, and now they implemented the unprecedented project in Sinai and all over Egypt. I think there are many. We have over the 8 years 30,000 project to cost us £8 trillion for the sake of our economy.
Yes. In one of your answers, General, you've talked also about the 6th of October war victory and stated more about the importance of having around also the spirit of October, because it was the first crossing then that has enabled us to achieve more victories. The victory for developing Sinai is considered to be like what we can call a second crossing, isn't it?
Let me say that the 6th of October, this is a medal that given to every Egypt, and put them in every Egyptian and Arab also, because the nation is emerged from the range of despair to the beach of hope and hope. Yeah. For that reason, I think there are many what we call about armed forces succeeded in eliminating and eradicated about the terrorism. 6th of October and the restoration of Sinai, there was what we call about the spirit of October. What's the spirit of October? It's power, it is a strength, it's what we call about determination and high morale. And this spirit continued to fight terrorism and ended up them to carry out this project in Sinai. I think this spirit is still until now to our youth in making a lot of this achievement in all over Egypt.
Yes, definitely. It's a spirit that we are really all proud of. We are also proud of the sacrifices of our martyrs and what has been achieved for the development of Sinai. Major General Mohamed Shahawy, strategic expert and the advisor to the College of Command and Staff College. Thank you so much for joining us on a very dear occasion while we are saluting the sacrifices of our martyrs and celebrating Sinai Liberation Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to shed a light about the state efforts for comprehensive development in Sinai.
Thank you so much, General. Many happy returns to our viewers, to all Egyptians, and also our viewers, Egyptians in the different countries all over the world, celebrating with us Sinai Liberation and watching us on our debate live tonight. I'm Taghirit Hussein, and many thanks for watching.